Hey everyone, this week we're going to be doing some drone photography with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So even though I use a drone quite a lot of the time in my videos to record the video footage, I've never actually done a video on drone photography. And that's mainly because I've never felt I've had the right drone to do that. I've had the original DJI Mavic Mini from about 4 years ago, and it's always served me really well. It records great video, even though it doesn't do 4K, but it's perfectly good for YouTube. But it only has a 12 megapixel camera and it only shoots in JPEG. Now 12 megapixels is not a problem. If I'm showing those on screen, that's absolutely fine, there's enough resolution there. But I really did want something that could shoot RAW, and I did feel that the original lens in the camera of the Mavic Mini wasn't quite as good as it could be. And so recently I upgraded to the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So this is not the very latest model, that's the 4 Pro, but it's still a very good drone and it's a big step up from the original Mavic Mini. This can capture up to 48 megapixels, it can shoot in RAW, and there are a lot of other great features about this drone when it comes to flying it, but today I'm only really going to cover anything that affects the photography side of things. So what I really wanted to capture was one of those overhead shots that you see of a road going through the forest. There's still some really great colours in the forests, and I thought if I could get a picture of a road going through that with all the colours, it might look really cool. And I knew just the place, quite local to me. I didn't have to go far, but it would have this road going through that woodland area, and that's what you're going to see shortly. So I will be talking about this drone here, now I'm back, but I'll intersperse that with footage of me capturing the footage with the drone, and I'll show you those images as we go through the video. Okay, so the photography equipment in this drone is a big step up from my original Mavic Mini, and also a step up from the Mini 2. It's got an equivalent 24mm lens in there, so I believe that's equivalent to a 35mm camera. It's got a 1.3, is that how you say it? Anyway, this number size sensor, and again that's a step up from the Mini 2. It means it can record a bit more light with that larger sensor. And it's got a maximum aperture of f1.7, so that's nice and wide, you're going to get a lot of light in there, and this does actually perform quite well in low light. As I said, it can do up to 48 megapixel shots, but not in all modes, but it will do 12.1 megapixels in all modes. It can shoot 4K video 60p, and it'll do anywhere from 2 seconds to 1/8000th of a second shots. So I should point out that for all the shots throughout this video, I was shooting in automatic mode. That's something I'd never normally do with my camera, but because it was my first trial with the drone and because I wanted to concentrate on flying it and stuff as well, I thought I'd just put it in automatic and see how it did, and it did do really well. You can put it into advanced mode where you can play around with the ISO and shutter speed and things like that. So that's really good and useful, but it's also good to know that you can get some good results out of the automatic mode as well. So some really cool things about this camera. Firstly, the camera will rotate so you can do portrait or landscape shots. And it will also do automatic exposure bracketing. So that's where it will take a series of shots at different exposures, and then later you can blend those together to get more dynamic range in your image. It'll also do timed shots, and it has a burst mode. But all three of these, the burst mode, timed and the exposure bracketing, will only work in 12.1 megapixel mode. It won't work at 48 megapixels, so that's worth bearing in mind. You can also get ND filters for this camera, so that's really useful for videographers where you need to limit the amount of light coming into your camera sometimes so that it matches your frame rate, your shutter speed and your frame rate. And it'll also be really good for photographers who want to do long exposures, but like I said, it will only go down to 2 seconds. So this is not really a review video, Like I said, this is not the latest DJI Mini model, that would be the 4 Pro, and there's going to be loads of videos already out there that review the 3 Pro. But I did just want to share my first impressions of using this, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. I really have enjoyed using it, and I got some results that I was quite pleased with. The ISO handling is really good, although I didn't push it much in this video because I was outside in broad daylight. But I have already used this at home in quite low light, and the results are really good. There's not much grain in the image considering it's such a small sensor. And I do think the lens itself is really good. It's reasonably sharp, just get a little bit softer to the outside edges, but that's quite a common feature, particularly with small lenses like this. And it's not a massive problem. And I have heard that there are some issues with chromatic aberration. That's where you get the purple or green fringing around high contrast areas, such as branches of trees perhaps against a bright sky. But that's not something I've experienced yet, so I'll just have to keep an eye on that, and I'll report in future if I notice that. But yeah, overall, really pleased with it. I think it's been really good, it's done a really good job, and it's a massive step up, like I said, from what I was using before. So there are just a few more shots to show you, and I'll put those on screen now. So that's it for this video. A huge thank you for watching. Massive thanks if you've subscribed. I've just gone over 7k. I can't believe that, to be honest, but it is amazing. So massive thank you to you if you've subscribed. And if you're not yet subscribed and you'd like to do so, you can just click down there on the big red button, or over here on this picture of me. And that way you'll stay up to date with everything I'm doing each and every week. There's a new video every Sunday morning at 10 AM UK time. So I hope you'll join me next week for the next one. But until then, thanks a lot everyone, and bye for now.